What does it actually look like to replace your smartphone with a smartwatch? Are phone calls reliable? What about texting, GPS, note-taking, your to-do list? There's so many reasons that smartphones are genuinely useful, but also equally as many reasons why they are super unhealthy for us. Which is why I've been trying to rely less on my phone and more on smart wearables like smartwatches. So this video is gonna be everything I've learned so far after testing a bunch of different Apple Watches and dipping my toes into some Android-based smartwatches as well. And hopefully some of these tips will help you live your life with tech more intentionally. And one thing I did not expect during all these experiments is how much more time I'd be spending outside. Which sounds great until it gets super freaking hot and you're starting to get distracted by the heat. So huge thanks to TORRAS for sponsoring today's video. I've been wearing the COOLiFY 2S Pro around my neck when I'm outside. It's actually the longest lasting model in the lineup. Let me depict how this feels. Imagine you have two cold cans of Halo 3 Mountain Dew game fuel slowly pressing against your neck, relieving you on a hot summer day preparing to LAN party with the boys. They also have their most powerful model, the Cyber Fold, with the largest cooling surface. And if you don't believe me, I tested it on my pregnant wife, who's gonna be using this throughout this insanely hot summer coming up while she's about to give birth.
Oh, that's chilly. This will keep me happy through pregnancy.
I just did a bunch of yard work wearing this thing and it genuinely feels so good.
And design-wise, it's super flexible. You can bend it to fit your neck. The battery is solid too. You get up to 28 hours on fan mode with the 2S Pro and around 15.5 hours with the Cyber Fold, which is pretty dang impressive. If you want to check it out, top link in the description. It'll help you overcome the heat this coming summer and stay focused and present. So let's start with Apple Watches and everything I've learned about using these instead of a smartphone. First of all is just activating cellular. I've gone over this in all of my experiments and it's kind of hit or miss depending on the day. Sometimes your phone and watch combo want to work with you and sometimes they're like, nah bro, you're going into Verizon today and you're waiting for 2 hours. It's actually not that hard at all, especially with Apple Watches and iPhones together. They communicate perfectly, so it's very easy to set up. If you want to just quickly activate your watch and then make it feel like your phone and leave your phone at home and be able to go on adventures with just the watch, a quick way to do that is just mirror the notifications from your phone to your watch. And then also in your watch app on your iPhone, make sure all the apps that you want to be able to use, all the third-party apps, are fully downloaded before you go away from your phone. Now, what about like going to the gym, using the fitness functions on Apple Watch, which is pretty good. I'm not gonna sit here and glaze it. It's a glorified stopwatch for weightlifting and stuff. Maybe if you're a runner or something, you get more out of it. For me, it's just kind of a stopwatch. But my biggest struggle is I like to use third-party workout apps. I've been trying something called Center Fitness. I've been on and off with this app for years, and there's no way to access my workouts on my Apple Watch. So if I wanna go to the gym without my phone, it's kind of a bummer because I'm kind of aimlessly trying to remember my workouts in the gym. A workaround is taking screenshots of your workouts and then syncing your photo app. It's not convenient, really. It's just easier for me to bring my phone for that kind of stuff because I can actually track my reps and stuff. But if you have your workouts memorized, you can just track your reps and weight and stuff in the Notes app if you want. Something I've learned about the Notes app though, it's very strange with Apple on the Apple Watch specifically, is you can create new notes and you can add text to those notes. But as soon as you back out of that, you can no longer edit it natively on the watch. It's stuck like that forever. If you want to edit it, you got to do a different device like a laptop, iPad, or iPhone. I have no idea why you can't edit notes, but super strange. But the best thing about being at the gym with an Apple Watch is you get all the function of the fitness app, but you don't have the option of doom scrolling. I see so many people in the gym wasting time on their phone between sets and stuff, just burning like 30 minutes to an hour. I don't have time like that to waste. I have too much to do. I got a family to take care of and everything. So I love going to the gym without my phone because I'm way more productive and quick. And my biggest frustration with Apple Watches is third-party apps like Spotify and MyFitnessPal, to be very specific. I've had lots of issues with these apps, and I love these apps on my iPhone. They don't freaking work very well on Apple Watch, and it's been this way for years now. Now, something that I haven't got any smartwatch to be able to do yet is to simply connect via Bluetooth to a car's stereo system. And I can't get any watch to connect. Am I doing something wrong? Has anybody else figured this out? I feel like I haven't seen anyone talk about this. If it connects to our headphones perfectly, why can't it connect to a Bluetooth stereo? I I love this setup with the Ultra 3 and this little case. How cool would that be to just use this as my phone and my music player wirelessly connected to my car, jamming? That'd be so cool. Now let's address GPS on Apple Watches, which is okay as well, which is kind of strange because it has its own Apple Maps native first-party app. You think it would be fantastic, but a lot of times when I'm using GPS on the Apple Watch, the screen goes black after like 10 or 15 seconds, and there doesn't seem to be a way to keep it always on, despite the fact that the Ultra watches and I think the new series watches are always on displays. Not sure what's going on there. There should be an option for us to choose that. I understand that it's gonna drain the battery more, but the user should be able to decide if they want that or not. But when it does work, it works really well. Like you can pull up nearby places with a voice command to Siri. You can search for places. You just gotta make sure your notifications and your location services are enabled. And if you do pull up a place via voice search and Siri, make sure on the bottom of the directions, like scroll all the way to the bottom, double check that that's the right address before you drive there, just to be safe. How about Apple Pay? Well, it's pretty cut and dry. As long as you make sure your cards are activated when you first set up your smartwatch with Apple, then it works exactly like an iPhone. Anything else is basically perfect. And even when you don't have it on your wrist, you can just double tap this button here and then you type in your passcode and then you can pay. So you don't even have to have it on your wrist, which is really cool. Also, the Find My feature works very well on Apple Watches. You can find your AirTag devices or your other Apple devices. You just open up Find My exactly how you would do it on a phone, tap the device and it will lead you there. But let's get into more of the actual phone stuff, like phone calls. Do they work? Actually, yes, phone calls on Apple Watches work relatively well, pretty smooth. The one thing is they're not very loud, like if you're talking on speaker. That's a criticism I have for Apple Watches across the board, whether it's the SE, the S watches, or the Ultra watches, they need louder speakers for sure. But overall, the quality of the calls is great, and you can have your phone turned off completely, be miles away, hundreds, thousands of miles away from your phone, and still make phone calls. It's really awesome. One downside is if you're in a phone call, you actually can't go back to another app. Like let's say you're driving and you answer a call and you have your AirPods in, you can't go back to your GPS app to check directions while you're also on the phone. It's like you're locked into that phone app for some reason, unless I'm stupid and I haven't figured it out. So this is kind of another broad criticism here, but I really want watchOS to be more in line with iOS, where it's more fluid like the iPhones to swipe between apps and stuff like that. I would love for this thing to actually become like a mini phone, but without all the horrible downsides like doom scrolling. I don't know if that's just waiting for beefier chips to fall into these watches or what, but I feel like we have the potential to get there. I'm kind of tired of these incremental upgrades from like Ultra 1 to 3. They're barely different at all. I want to see a massive leap in performance, but who knows? We'll see. The voice texting works great unless you're around other people. Then you have to use the little tiny keyboard, and even like with small fingers, it's gonna be hard to do. It's really tiny. But gestures are genuinely amazing. When a text comes in, you double tap to immediately start typing, whether that's with your voice or the keyboard, double tap again and it's sent. It's so smooth. But what's annoying about text messaging specifically, you're not gonna get your SMS messages from Android contacts. So like my dad has an Android phone. I can't get his text messages on my Apple Watch when I'm doing my tests without my phone, but I can receive calls from him. Very strange. I don't know all the ins and outs, behind the scenes logistics with that stuff, but I feel like for safety reasons, it would be nice to be able to receive a text from any device. What about sleep functions? I don't really use this all that much, and I actually prefer smart rings for that because it's way less intrusive. I don't like wearing Apple Watches while I'm sleeping. They're just too big and you have to charge them at some point anyway, so I'd rather just charge it while I'm sleeping.
I don't want to wear my watch when I'm asleep.
What Apple Watches would I recommend so far? Well, I wouldn't recommend anything older than the Series 9. The Series 9 is where Siri became local on device, so you don't have to be connected to the internet to access Siri. I had a great experience with the 10, the Series 11's great too. I love how sleek those designs are, but they're still big enough. They're larger, a little bit better battery life, but they're still slim enough to actually look like a watch. The Ultra watches, at least on my skinny white boy wrists, are just way too chonky. They actually kind of hurt my wrist, which is actually what led me down the path of finding this tiny pod attachment. This has been an awesome accessory for me to play around with. It has the spin wheel, just like the iPod Classic, that actually works. You get access to all 3 buttons still, which is really, really fun. And it works with the Ultra 2 and the Ultra 3. This is not sponsored. I got it with my own money. Just wanted to try it out. I'll link it below if you're interested. I've also tried the SE3 watch, and although it was pretty good for how small it was, it's just too tiny. The battery life's not very good. Operating a little tiny screen like that isn't very enjoyable. So it just depends on your needs. If you just want the best battery life, best screen, and build quality possible, just go with the Ultra. But if you want something more affordable, I would do like the Series 10 or 11. They're both really, really good. They're barely any different from each other, and they look really nice too. So we're gonna get into Android phones, but if you wanna try this kind of a setup for yourself with an Apple Watch, just make sure to set yourself up for success. You can actually set up your home screen to be very similar to your phone with your calls, text, Spotify, all on the main screen. Make sure your firmware is updated. I would highly recommend your apps be switched to list view versus the bubbles. Make sure you're logged into Spotify. That happened to me at the gym recently. You can't do it without your phone. Activate your cards for Apple Pay so they're ready to go. Turn on your location services, and I would just let your family and close friends know what you're doing in case they're trying to get a hold of you for an emergency, just in case. And then lastly, most importantly, prepare to poop in silence. You can't doom scroll anymore, baby. It's just you and your thoughts. But let's move on to Android watches. Full disclosure, I have way less experience here with Android. I feel a lot more confident with the Apple Watches because I've tested multiple. So far, I've only done the Samsung Galaxy Watch 8. That was a really fun video, very interesting experiment, but I still learned a lot and I just want to share everything I know so far. This might sound obvious, but you never know. Make sure you're using an Android-based phone with an Android-based smartwatch to get its full capabilities. But what's cool about Android-based watches, as far as I understand, is they're compatible with a wide variety of phones like Samsung, the Google Pixels. First and foremost, let's just get straight to the meat, phone calls. It's a lot different on Android-based watches. So my experience with the Watch 8 was I could answer calls as long as I was close to my phone, which was the Pixel 9 for that experiment. It was fine, like the quality wasn't great. It was probably a little worse than Apple Watch Ultra, but when I was away from my phone, out and about running errands and stuff, I was not able to make phone calls. However, one lovely commenter of mine said that he gets this to work on his Galaxy Watch 6. He even walked me through the settings on how to do it. I don't have the Galaxy Watch 8 anymore. I just got it for that test, got rid of it. But I want you guys to check his comment out, and if you have feedback on this as well, or you've gotten it to work, please let me know. Texting works a lot better than calls, at least like you don't have to do workaround settings and stuff like that. I was able to be away from my phone, make text messages happen, but there was a time where it just completely locked up on me and I was not able to send text messages. Apparently it was like a random carrier issue, and I did notice that the voice texting was more frustrating on the Samsung Watch versus Apple Watch. Maybe this was a skill issue, maybe something I had to get used to, but in my entire week of testing, it just felt like there was a little bit of an obstacle with trying to type with my voice and then trying to fix things with typing. It was kind of frustrating. Sometimes it was perfect, other times it was annoying. Let me know what your experience is. Now, the workout app I actually prefer on Android over Apple. What's cool is it automatically pauses your workouts for you when you stop moving your body. Whereas I feel like I'm driving a stick shift with Apple Watch Fitness. You gotta stack your workouts whenever you're doing them. You gotta control everything, pause stuff whenever you're not moving, versus the Android one just felt like it was doing it with me. GPS also felt a lot better than the Apple Watches for me. It just felt more natural. Maybe it's because I was using Google Maps instead of Apple Maps, but it felt a lot more like a phone experience, even like the layout on the screen, which is circular, like a watch.
All Apple Watches are freaking squares.
The circular Galaxy Watch it felt like I had some more real estate to look at. For music, car Bluetooth also didn't work. Sad day. I'm waiting for that day. It's gonna be beautiful when a watch can play to a Bluetooth device in a vehicle. But where my Android watch experience destroyed Apple Watch was with third-party apps. Like when we talked about Spotify and MyFitnessPal not working well or barely working on Apple Watch, they worked so smoothly on the Galaxy Watch 8. It was like way more native feeling. I was able to pull up the music I wanted, no hiccups, no crashing for the most part. So for me, I really enjoyed the third-party compatibility on the Android-based software. So that's my experience with Apple Watches Android watches thus far. But now let me go over the side effects that you may experience after doing these experiments. First of all, prepare for doom scrolling withdrawals. You're gonna experience disconnection from the digital world, presence with the physical world and those you love. You will be happier. Some things are more annoying, like staying in touch with people you really care about. If you're away from your phone, you're intentionally just trying to not use your phone for a week or whatever it is, it can be really isolating. You have to intentionally be like, all right, I'm gonna call Andrew on my watch. This is gonna be annoying, but we're reaching out. At least I'm not on social media. And overall, what I've experienced is that these watches so far, whether it's Android or Apple, are built to be companion devices to our freaking phones, and I'm ready for some breakthrough in this tech space. Smart watches, I want to see them actually become smart enough to not need a smartphone. They're kind of the annoying cousin that just repeats everything you say. Just say your own stuff. That's all I got for you guys. That's everything I've learned about using smartwatches and wearables over a phone. Let me know what smart tech you want me to try out, whether it's watches, wearables, whatever. Thank you to TORRAS for sponsoring today's video. Feel free to support on Patreon or YouTube memberships, but no pressure. And yeah, pray that God would bless you and your families. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye.